So yesterday, France got knocked out by Spain in the fourth semi-final of the World Cup in what is, in my opinion, the best game we've had so far in this competition. Maybe not from an entertainment point of view, because we've had more entertaining games, we've had games with more goals, we've had more open play games. But from a technical point of view, I really did enjoy that game, and I think Spain was close to as perfect as anyone could have expected. I mean, if that game had ended maybe 3-0, 4-0, I don't think anyone would really have any complaints given how well Spain played in that game. Their defense was excellent. Their midfield was great. I mean, Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, and Omo were just so good. I can't stress how much I like Rodri. Like, I know I'm not supposed to like him given the fact that he's been one of those players that's given me a lot of bad days across the past few years, but that player is just so solid. And when you know you have someone like that, you can better manage game, which is what Spain did a lot of yesterday. They managed the game so well. They kept the ball away from France. They limited France to so little opportunities that I don't really think at any point in that game I felt that France was going to win the game. Like, as soon as the game started, by the first 15 minutes, I think Spain were the better team all through. As soon as they got a penalty, I don't think anyone seen that game saw an opening for France to come into that game. Which is funny to say because prior to the game yesterday, a lot of us, most people had France as the favourites to not just win that game, but to go on to win the World Cup. But that didn't happen. And it got me thinking as to why we were so comfortable in overlooking Spain. And yes, France has been good. One of the best teams we've ever seen in the World Cup. They have one of the best attack you can get both in club football and in country football. Like, how many teams has that amount of technical and just quality and star doors around the attack? They were good, or they've been good so far in this competition, and was just expected to, like, even if it's just on the strength of the attack, get the best of Spain. But that did not happen yesterday. And a lot of the reason why I think we felt France had the better opportunity was because of how well they played, like I said earlier. And given the fact that Spain has kind of been a bit slow, they've gotten better as each game has gone, but they've kind of started the competition slow and have just been building and building. And even the way they play, because if we remember very well, in the last competition they won, the Euros, a lot of the talk around De La Fuentes was how he's kind of changed the pattern and style of play for Spain, how they become more direct, how they have these spacey wingers in Yamil Lamar and Nico Williams that could just create anything out of nothing. So most of their games were get the ball to the midfield, spread the ball to the wings, and allow the wingers to get in. But coming into this World Cup, Nico Williams was injured and wasn't really available. So Alex Brenner came into the team and they kind of had to adapt how they play. And I think they went back to what they used to do, what they did more of in the 2010s, and during that period of domination for them where they became more of a ball possession team, how they would just play teams up the park. Maybe not to that height because, again, you need certain class of players to be able to dominate football the way Spain did in the 2010s. But yesterday just showed us that, yes, they don't have those great attackers. Yes, their best attacker in Yamin Lamal has not really been great, even though I think he's been much better than people has given him credit for so far. But how just being able to manage the game, just being able to dominate the midfield, just being able to control how possession goals would give you a lot of edge over talent at any point in time. And this is not me saying that Spain are not a talented team. They are arguably the second most talented team in the competition. But with how easy it was to play against France yesterday, it just makes me feel like having the best midfield goes a long way to carry a team. And if you also remember, a lot of the reservation we had for France coming into this World Cup was around their midfield and their wing backs or full backs. Players like Wabio, Chouameni, Ondine, and the left back, and Kunde. These are not the top players in their position when you compare them to their attackers and maybe their central back pairing of Saliba and Upamecano. And that weakness came to bite them yesterday because of how easy Spain was able to dominate their midfield. I really don't know why Deschamps decided to go back to Charmany ahead of Kone. Not to say that if Kone had started that game, the result would have been any different, but I just felt it would have given them the familiarity that they've built since Kone came into the midfield, and maybe they could have managed that game better. But that did not really happen. And in my opinion, the best team on that day clearly won and deserved the win. Like there's no argument to be made over there. But from an Arsenal point of view, it was sad seeing France not be able to progress to the final because, like most Arsenal fans are kind of partial to France, given how much we've had a lot of French players coming into the team and they love good work. And again, one of our key players and one of the best central backs in the whole world picked up an injury yesterday in Saliba, and that was very sad to see. Yes, we know or we knew he was coming into the competition carrying an injury. There was also talk of him maybe getting some operation on his back and things of that nature. But just seeing him not be able to continue that game yesterday just kind of puts was just sad to see. Because yes, the thought of him losing a couple of games was already to start the season was already at the back of my mind, but it came to the forefront of my mind just seeing him pick up that injury yesterday because it just dawned on me that Saliba is not going to be here to start the season. Yes, I know we still don't know how bad the injury is, and we're just going off speculation at this point in time. But players like Saliba, players like Rice, players like Saka, I do not expect them to start this season for us next year. I expect them to miss a couple of games, and we kind of need to prepare for this, which does make sense because we've seen the likes of Bruno G being linked to the team. That is a player that is going to come into the midfield and be able to deputize for Rice when needed. I don't really see the drop off between Rice and Bruno Guimaraes. I think the drop off would not be felt that much when players like him come. But now that Saliba is going, and realistically, the player we have on our team to best replace Saliba at the moment is Mosquera. And I'm a big fan of Mosquera. Like I don't really mind him coming into next season and being the starter pending when Saliba comes back fit. My only worry is what then happen if he picks up an injury himself. So if I'm thinking that way, I'm sure Arteta is also thinking that way because one of the things he's done is to build that defense to be so strong that the entire team can rely on that defense, seeing us through games. I mean, last season I didn't think we needed Nkapi, but we went out of our way to get Nkapi, and we saw how important Nkapi was, particularly in the second half of the season. It's the same thing here. Yes, Saliba could be gone for a month or so, but he's played so many games over the years. It should just make sense to have someone reliable to make sure that he doesn't play as much games as he played last season, this season. And given the fact that we intend and hope to compete against 4 competitions, we are going to be playing close to 65 games, 68 games thereabout. I'm not I'm not fully bought into the fact that Mosquera would be good enough to play a lot of games at the expense of Saliba. Yes, if it's 5 games, 10 games here, I just feel like we would want to manage Saliba a lot. We would want to manage Rice a lot. and Saka going into next season. And I feel like Arteta is going to get a central back. So this has added to the problems we need to face. And it kind of makes sense that we've been linked to players like Konsa, we've been linked to players like Lacroix and players like Ashipong from Chelsea, who are players that play in the Premier League and would be good enough to compete in our team, especially Konsa and Lacroix, and will not necessarily see a steep drop off from Saliba. So, in a way, I feel like Saliba picking up that injury yesterday just kind of put Ateta in a position where he has no choice but to go out there and get a good enough central back into the team just to make us be ready for anything we face, be ready for any extended period of Saliba being out. And um yeah, I'm up for it. I do want that to happen. Because one of the emotional games last year was the Villa loss, the game we lost 2-1 to Villa, where we started with Simba and Nkape as our centre back pairing. And you could easily see how much. And I think around that time, Muscara was also injured. And that game showed how much we needed like quality central backs. Yes, Nkape can deputize. I'm less worried about Nkape deputizing than I am of Timber, generally because of his height, which was exploited in that game. And we have so much laid back um, alternative to replace Gabriel if Gabriel picks up an injury than we have of Saliba. So I do think we're going to get a central back in the summer. And I don't know if we might go the route of maybe signing an Ashipon, given the fact that we always seem to get one of Chelsea players every other summer. Maybe this is the Chelsea player we'll be getting this summer, and the fact that he can comfortably play as a central back and as a wide back, and he's someone to be said has a lot of talent in him. Maybe I think that goes that route, but I don't see us not necessarily getting a central back into the team. And most of our signings were done in the second half of the summer window. Like Eze and Nkape were done way late into the window. I feel something similar is going to happen. Ideally, I would not want that to happen because I would want us to get these players in, start our preseason and preparation early, and just prepare for every every bad thing that could happen. Like the earlier we can get players in, the earlier they can settle down and start to give us their best performance. So I'm with a lot of fans on that. I just kind of want us to be a bit patient with Ateta and Edu and Beta and believe that yeah, these guys are like seeing the same thing we are seeing, have the same doubts and reservation we have, and we would find the best way to resolve some of these issues. Anyway, that's the most you're getting from me today. I do hope that we get a good game tonight and we see more of the Arsenal boys progressing to the final. Not just because I'm partial to England, I just do not like Argentina. And for some reason, more and more people have started to become more anti-Argentina as the competition has gone by. And I feel like if England play as well as they can do today, they would beat Argentina and also would have a chance against Spain. And it would be nice to also have one of the Arsenal players winning the World Cup. It's just going to be good for morale and good for the CV of whichever players go on to win the World Cup. Regardless, I just hope we see a good game today. Anyways, if you've made it this far, thank you. If you have anything you'd like to drop it in the comments. If you have any um recommendations, let me know. I'm going to get better at articulating my thoughts and my presentation is going to get much better as time goes on. But for today, this is what you're getting from me. And thank you so much. Have a nice day and a nice end to the week. Take care of yourself.